tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh, hello, Internet. It is such bittersweetness that comes to me and comes to mind talking to you now on this episode 13 of season 6 of Archer. The title of this episode, Drastic Voyage, Part 2. Hey, AfterBuzzers, welcome to another after show for Archer. And as I mentioned, this is it. This is it, guys. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to our channel on the YouTubes, youtube.com/AfterBuzzTV. Check us out on iTunes, subscribe there, SoundCloud, a veritable cornucopia of options we are presenting to you, the listener, in order to subscribe to us and hear our voices. Really, now you're just going through the back catalog, because it's over, guys. It's done. But you can still go ahead and tweet us using hashtag ABTVArcher. And you can also find us individually on the Twitters. Well, who are we individually on the Twitters? Fantastic unasked question, Internet. I'm at Greg Goodness because I'm Greg Goodness. And with me today are two very fine gentlemen.
Yeah, hey guys, Scott Moore, and you can find me on the Twitter at SMan80, that's SMan80.
And I'm Zach Wilson. You can tweet me at that Zach Wilson.
Man, oh man, guys, what a journey it has been. What a drastic journey. Voyage.
Almost fantastic, if you will.
Almost.
Yeah, almost. Except that it very much wasn't. The episode, fantastic. The end result for the Archer crew, very not fantastic. Very the worst thing that could ever happen, pretty much. This episode, I really liked it. It was a great way to close out the season, because it was something big. It reminded me of all the other past season finales that we've seen, where it's real life or death stakes, something completely over the top. I was a fan. What do you guys think?
No, I agree. I was feeling the tension at the end there. I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen?
You know, there was a moment towards the end where I was like, this is gonna be all right. And then the body exploded.
It's just like, everything is going wrong here.
I was right there with you too. I was thinking, okay, that's gonna end up okay.
Yeah, this is almost kind of flat. Yeah. Like it's like it went really well, and like they hit like a snag here and there, but they recovered with fine form, and with the exception of Ray, everyone's doing fine. And then the ship explodes.
I like the creative liberty that the animation team took with the amount of blood that ended up on the ship somehow.
I'm willing to chalk it up to that because the blood was attached to the ship.
Yeah,
fair.
That's what I was thinking too.
The blood expanded.
Okay.
As the ship
did. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It came out of the body there.
There was a pretty
Science. Yes.
Sure. There was a pretty
and miracles.
There was a pretty fantastic amount of exploding blood coming off of that ship as well. I thought it was a good dynamic, though. We got to see a little bit of everything. We got some real talk in, even in the season finale. Some real talk. We saw it before in the underground sea laboratory episode. Some might call it a sea lab of some kind. We saw that with Lana announcing that she was indeed pregnant. Right. We got it last season with, we're birthing a child out of a crazy coup situation. And now we got, hey, we can't be dying because you're a father. Do you guys think that was, we've touched on it a little bit, right? Like we've sort of had that conversation over and over again, but for some reason to me it felt fresh this time around. It felt like there was more gravitas. Am I mistaken in that?
I think just because there were the both of them could die.
Oh, okay.
It felt more drastic. Like if Archer dies or if Lana dies, like
it's not
that's
just
obviously
one, it's
bad.
both.
But like the other one's still there in theory.
I love actually calling out for the first time that Archer doesn't actually believe he can die.
Yeah, that was great.
He sort of has this immortality complex that's been brazenly showcased throughout the entire season and series, really.
Yeah.
But now he's just calling it out where he's like, yeah, whatever. Believe in ghosts, don't think I can die. Two might be connected. It's some real... we have to talk about it because there are some real, pun intended, off-color jokes, number one, about Rey's hand, which turns out was robotic. It was not...
Oh, of course. Right.
Yeah. But I was still rooting for it to be...
I mean, who knows where the skin came from?
Right, exactly. The skin is a whole other thing there that we didn't.
I
Could
guess.
still be
discuss.
Conway. I mean, I still think it's Conway's hand. That's just like the bones aren't going to match up. So you put in a robotic hand with the blood and fine workings outer shell of Conway's.
I thought it was a great character piece, though, that my God, Ray Gillette was absolutely horrified when he realized that Lana had been construing this all as a racist thing, and he was just being pissy the whole time.
Well, he was referencing, like, driving Miss Daisy.
He was in the Piggly Wiggly and other
pretty
little things there.
I'm pretty sure Morgan Freeman wasn't a robot in that movie. I'd have to go rewatch Driving Miss Daisy, but I'm 90% sure, maybe 75% sure that he was not a robot.
Yeah, and that Ray would have had to have some sort of back knowledge that he wasn't a robot as well. So yeah, there was definitely some weird sort of subconscious stuff. This is the problem, guys, is that it's all in the subconscious. Even when you're actively trying not to, it's all buried back in there. So, Ray is reminding all of us to check our privilege at the door. We're learning a lot here in our
We're learning a little bit about ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Exactly. We also have to, I am reluctant to even bring it
We
up,
have to address it.
but Cyril taking the controls of the plane.
Now's the time. Just crash the sub and kill them. Was the quote.
Yes, that was the.
If you guys haven't been keeping up with the news lately, go do that. I'm not going to explain
No, we don't need to
why
explain that.
this is a horrifying thing, but it's a horrifying thing to say right now.
Look, I mean, the way the animation works, because, like, just in case, like, people, because some people, because of South Park, have a misconstrued look at this.
No,
This
they
was
do it in
not
a week,
line
right?
That went in. Like at the last moment,
night.
oh, I got a great joke
Exactly.
about the pilot. No, this was months ago.
This was very, very badly timed, just coincidentally.
But like,
wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody on the staff like saw that or like on FX like was like, guys, should we cut that?
I'm sure it was a conversation, but you know, I gotta be honest, I was kind of glad that it stayed in. Not that like I would have missed it had I known it wasn't there.
Right.
But it's kind of like, yeah, man, I mean, what are we gonna do? Go through a fine-tooth comb, and then where does it end? It's the slippery slope effect.
Yeah.
Darn it.
It's tough, you know, a show was delivered and it's out there.
Yeah. And it's ready to go.
Yeah.
But man, oh man, that
we all were just like, oh no.
It's like I would equate it to, because really, what are the odds? The overwhelming odds. It's like all of a sudden there was a headline that's like, Slayer robot also makes toast. Like, and all of a sudden we're like, oh no, Milton.
Milton, where was Milton?
Yeah, the odds
Adam
of this.
Reed, where is Milton?
The odds of that were just astronomical.
Oh, of course.
And somehow
I know.
they made it through.
About probably the same of winning the lotto. Having having that kind of line in there.
Oof.
That being said,
So many.
not the most offensive thing said in the episode.
Oh,
I
no.
think was the
No?
Jetsons robot black is a.
That was up there.
It's not even so much offensive as it's just confounding on every possible level. Because I'm like, was the Jetsons was it like modeled to be?
No, her
like,
name was Rosie. If anything,
it was Rosie the Riveter. She was riveted together.
But the name. But yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
know.
Let's just go ahead and put that in the bottle.
It's like,
let's not examine
let's
the
not
race
examine
of
the
a
social
robot.
constructs of of what the robot represented there. We'll just.
It's what she was
that be.
asking. I'm just.
No, I know.
Yes. Just again, there are so many things in this
I know.
episode that they were able to say on air that I'm not even comfortable like beginning to think of. Like I don't want to go down that rabbit hole in my mind.
Yeah, like everyone's Kickstarter has merit. Ooh, I don't want to touch that one.
That hits a little too close to home for a lot of us.
Yes, it does.
Who have raised a lot of Kickstarters, a lot of failed Kickstarters in our day.
That was a great line, though. Everyone gets a medal for showing up, and everyone's Kickstarter deserves merit.
TV's Michael Gray making an appearance
TV's Michael
in this
Gray.
episode. Being the most flamboyant and weird Michael Gray as possible. Again, adding to my catalog of just looks that I want tattooed on me from this season is Michael Gray sitting with just his fingers pointed directly below his lip, watching
Staring.
as his ex-girlfriend tries to make love to Slater.
Inside her current boyfriend's
Inside her current
body.
lover's body, as she said.
The ultimate cuckolding.
You know, it's funny that I thought that we were gonna get Archer at least trying to hook up with Lana to be like the first miniature people to have sex.
What would that
In
even be
another
called?
body.
It's like the Mile Shrunk Club or the...
Honey, I Shrunk the... I got nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm drawing a blank too. That's probably why they didn't address it. They're like,
Right.
we have to come up with a clever club.
And
And
there
like
just
a
wasn't.
week goes by. And then there's just
Nothing.
like beautiful minded all over the room.
Honey, I
Nothing.
Shrunk the Fornicators.
What? That doesn't even... That barely makes sense, even as a sentence. You're out of your mind. Here's something that, Zach, I'm hoping you can explain to me. A reference to Captain Marvel, Jackson Boswick and Captain Marvel.
Oh, we talked about it a little bit last week because Michael Gray played Billy Batson, who is Captain Marvel of the DC universe.
Okay.
If you're not aware, when he says he's a little kid, and when he says the magic word Shazam, he transforms into Captain Marvel.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that we got that backstory.
It's a
out now.
superhero TV show.
I understand.
That's basically it.
All right, guys, let's talk about the season as a whole here, because now it's over. It seemed like
know.
just yesterday.
It did.
Seems like just yesterday we were in Archer Vice mode and we were dealing cocaine. We talked about at the very top of this season, this was a return to form.
Yes.
And boy, oh boy, as we saw by the end of this season, very much a return to form, a two-parter where the stakes are higher,
Right.
and we got a mission, we got to go in, we got to do something crazy. What did you think? I thought that this, for me, was very refreshing. I liked Vice, but I'm really happy to see where this season played out.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like we had talked about, and we talked about, it's the refresh, but at the same time, it was bringing it back to its roots, and it felt very fresh and fun and just as great from the beginning. I thought, to have the fast pacing and the great writing and the quips and the season as a whole and make it feel fresh and new in the sixth season is a tough thing to do, and they really accomplished that, I thought, for the season.
Yeah, I mean, it was not like I liked Vice. Vice was fun,
Right,
but
it was fun.
It's a spy show, and
Right.
like that's why it was nice to have that like fun time away from it.
Right, it was that little break.
But like we wanted to go back to the ridiculous espionage and just like it took us like out of that world that we built. So like coming back to it, we got stuff like Conway, we got stuff like Katya coming back, even if we were just like getting basically like name checked for those people for like an episode. But it was fun to see them return.
Yeah, and it felt new again, but at the same time, back to its roots, and I really did. I thought it was a great season overall.
That's a beautiful sentiment, by the way. That was very nicely, like in a nice little bow, you just gave it the whole thing. Here's what I'm sort of shocked about is I went into this season real reluctant about a baby in tow. And maybe I held my reservations because I have faith in the team. I have faith in the show. But in the back of my head, in my subconscious, it was brewing like, there's going to be a baby. It's going to be terrible. Everything is going to be horrible. And it was a really fun ride. The baby showed up. AJ showed up when appropriate. It was an interesting little part of the dynamic, but didn't detract from the show too much.
Right, exactly. And it added a little bit of character development and a little bit of extra story plots and things that we go with. But overall, it wasn't in the way or distracting.
Yeah, it was actually more not even about like AJ like being there. It was just about the fact that she existed was what affected the season, but in a good way. Like it gave some character arc to the season without being like, we're taking this baby on a trip to Iran.
Though they were taking that baby everywhere. But still, and it gave us a reason for Lana and Archer to get back together, ostensibly. Gave them something in common. I would say you're on a first date, and it's like, hey, what do you like to do? Oh, I like to raise our child. Me too! Like, that's an interesting... that's something to bond over, right?
Right, and it brought like her with the parents, and we got to see Mallory in a different light. So there were a lot of different tacks we got to use with that character. So definitely,
I thought that even though we were returning to the spy forum that we talked about, we did get sort of off track here by the end. What I thought was interesting is this was sort of a continuation of something that we've seen all season, though, because we keep talking about there have been a lot of sci-fi elements in this season, more so than like your classic spy movie. Last season was just craziness. It was all over the map. You could do whatever you wanted. Any sort of crazy buddy action comedy-esque movie, it's like, all right, we're just going to map the show onto that. But this, I thought it was pretty clever that, okay, we're going back to our spy roots, but we're doing it like Moonraker style.
Right, exactly. I was just going to say that. And there was a lot of those elements of the Moonraker. But at the same time, the show's always been that way in a sense, where we're not quite in the modern time, and we're mixing and matching different genres of the spy stuff. So, I mean, it makes sense for this show. And that's part of the fun of having an animated show is that you can go and do all these crazy things.
Yeah, I mean, like, you want with a spy to eventually be able to do Roswell and Aliens. It's a more sci-fi type spy thing, but it is a spy thing.
It's X-Files.
So why not?
Exactly.
Why not inject a shrunken down ship with your entire cast into a man's body and get them off track and then blow him up at the end?
Yeah, and
why not, I say.
Yeah.
Right.
And the show has always been great about just prefacing it up top, like, listen, guys, this is the ride that we're going on. So you can either, like, pardon my French, piss and moan about it, or you can just enjoy the ride, in this case, the literal ride of the miracle of science and miracles.
Exactly.
That's what this season was, guys.
Yeah, it all comes down.
It was the miracle of spying along with the science of science fiction. Yes.
There's enough room in this world for science and miracles.
Yeah. Archer is a miracle of comedy and spying. And then all the other science stuff, very much pseudoscience. We had full-on robot exoskeletons. And aliens. Let's not forget the aliens.
Let's not forget them.
Why didn't we get the aliens?
Real, Greg.
I know that you've
not
had
a mystery or miracle.
They're just as real as ghosts.
I think the two are connected for some reason. I'm not sure. Hey guys, if you like ghosts, then go see some ghosts. But if you like podcasts, if you like fine podcasts discussing shows like Archer and pretty much everything else on the face of the sun, you can go on to iTunes. You can subscribe to our podcast. You can subscribe to many other fine AfterBuzz TV after shows. There are other TV shows out there, guys. Did you know about this? I was not told. Nobody told me that TV had other shows
I would have no idea.
besides Archer. But you can go. You can go and you can listen to those podcasts if you choose to do so. But more importantly, through some crazy algorithm that I will never fully understand, if you rate and you comment on our podcast, be that on the iTunes page or on YouTube or wherever, it keeps the lights on in here, you guys. And there's a lot of lights.
I was just looking at all the lights. I was thinking that. There's a lot.
Viewers and listeners at home, you can't see them, but the lights are everywhere.
There's a couple that are out here, so we need to get a couple more people to comment.
We need more comments. We need more thumbs up. Tell us what you like, what you don't like. It's all great stuff. We all appreciate it. Gloria McAndrew on our YouTube page. This is actually going all the way back to episode 11. Zach, stop counting the actual lights. She works as a storyboard artist on the show. We've sort of established. She sent us a pic of her and a bunch of other animators in Slater's shirt. I had made a passing comment about how Slater's shirt was like stupid, but also really cool. And apparently they had them printed up, and they all just wear them around the office.
That like the Kwongs. Or
yeah,
it is.
That was awesome.
That's fantastic.
Thank you, Gloria. That was very cool. I also like Gustavo Olivares. I think we've read off his comments before. He's pointing us out Krieger's secret website. We didn't talk about it too much, but the AV Club did a fantastic exploration of a Reddit subforum where it's like, it's pretty crazy, guys. It's a rabbit hole of like sub-sites that you have to type in URLs and do decoding. Ooh. But it's Krieger's like universe that he lives in. So that was kind of cool. And I even get people giving me some love on my Twitter feed. Gary Edwards at 343 Bungee Valve? Oh, Bungee Valve, like video game companies. Those video games that the kids are playing these days.
Crazy kids.
Pointed out that they bombed whales previously. Archer and the crew in the Excelsior episode. So technically not their first time in Wales. Because they've bombed it before. So good.
Was it Wales?
Was it? I know.
I thought it was Ireland.
No, I thought they bombed Wales. I think it's we just bombed Wales. We could be wrong.
Yeah, I think
we're gonna have to go.
We're gonna have to go back. But
what a trial! I'll have to go rewatch one of my favorite episodes.
I trust Gary Edwards, you guys. So thank you, everyone. And seriously, we've gotten a lot of love over the course of this season, and people have been really fantastic and supportive. So thank you, guys.
You guys are the best.
You really are the best fans.
Better than all the rest.
No, keep going.
Started it. That's all I know.
I want to hear your full-length debut album. It's a beautiful, beautiful voice.
Quasi whistle.
Scott said simply the best. I had to finish it.
You did.
But that's all I know.
Speaking of finishing it, guys, the last line of this episode.
Oh my god.
I have a few ideas.
What are we gonna do for money?
Yeah. Because we've been in this situation before.
We have.
I've seen similar sunglasses to those before. I'm just going to ask it outright. Are we going Vice do? Vice?
I don't think so. We're going back to Vice.
Mm-hmm.
No. I hadn't thought about the sunglasses, but that's a very good point. If that's what he's going for there, I think it's just like a misdirect where we're gonna come back into that and it's like, what, like deal cocaine again? I mean, if you guys want. It's like, no, why don't we just reopen ISIS?
Pam's like, yeah. Well, they're not going to reopen ISIS. Again, a string of very bad luck for Archer and crew of naming things before terrible events take place.
They'll just rebrand it. But I kind of think what you're saying, Zach, I think...
As ISIL, right?
Yes.
Stop.
Yes, just stop. But I think they will maybe come back and be the competitor for like the CIA, like try to be like one step ahead of them in a weird way. Is like kind of envisioning something like that. Like they're gonna go out and do their own.
Or what if they go
clandestine missions?
What if they go work for the KGB?
Well, they could, or like some other government or something. You know, there's.
See, here's the thing that I'm thinking, right, is that they were always sort of on the fringe of clandestine agencies. I think they're gonna become literal mercenaries, like guns for hire. Whoever has the cash. we're going to go in and do it.
Isn't that what they were before, technically?
Well, that's where Mallory started bringing them. Towards the end of, I want to say, like, season 4, season 3, season 4, we started talking about, like, is Mallory evil? Is she doing...
we talked about that, like, is she doing these
nefarious things? But I think that we might be going that direction.
So, kind of taking a blend of what we were saying, sort of like working as a competitor or working for other governments or working for other groups. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Here's another thought. A-Team. If you have the money, or how's the opening go? It's like, if you can find them, if you can.
Oh no, it's like we need to play it.
They have many vans at their disposal. Krieger has a ton of them.
Of course, so he'll just build more if he needs them.
I also like small logic gap in this episode where Krieger is allowed to destroy a supercomputer and then just walk off the base. It's like, no, I'm pretty sure he would have been shot a whole bunch.
But then again, come on, like, they were miniaturized in someone else's body, so yeah. I think, him walking away.
But that was just incompetency. Or to be fair, an incredibly complicated procedure that like a million things could have gone wrong with, and they did everything they could to fix it.
I still think that they're gonna call back to the fact that every single mission was intended to fail.
Oh no,
that
they called it out there.
Yeah.
Well, they called it out in this episode, but we never got like the full like truth or explanation of like, no, here was the CIA sinister purpose.
Like,
Sinister?
Like
Sinister.
you're saying, like the actual proof of saying that was the plan is to have them fail.
Yeah, like we wanted this guy dead, or we knew it was going to fail. But here's what I'm thinking now in my later years is these are all missions that the CIA had to do, but inevitably knew were going to fail.
That's what I was going to say, is that they put them on there knowing that they're going to fail, and they won't want to put their own people on that.
Yeah, it's like we're going to pass the buck. We're going to outsource this, knowing it's going to fail.
The riskiest ones to the people that, they could...
Or they, like, have been... Or maybe their order was to kill them, but to make it look like an accident. So they kept trying that, and then they're just like...
It hasn't worked.
How do they keep surviving?
Yeah.
I'm immortal.
Yeah. He cannot be killed.
Yeah.
Very afraid of ghosts, though. So that kind of sums it up. I mean, I think that I'm just going to ask for it anyways because I love hearing it. Let's get that spooky theremin music in there, you guys.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
All right, so we've speculated. We've had a bit of room to shake our noggins, okay? What is next season of Archer going to be? What are we going to open on, guys?
Oh, what are we going to open on?
Yeah, I want to see the opening sequence in your mind.
We're opening right back where we are, and they're like, nah, let's just be spies.
The classic misdirect, okay.
I think Adam Reed is just, he set this scene up basically to come back at the beginning of next season to just to give us like what is it, April? 8 months of speculation until January, and then it opens, and he's just like, nah, we're not changing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do agree with you with that, because I don't think he can go back and, after last season, it's too disjointed, and I think it just wouldn't play well for the actual overall arc of the show series. But I think they do have to kind of go back at the beginning there, because you saw Ray very ill, and so you've got to pick up from that point on. So I do agree with you with that. But whatever happens, I want to see my Milton. Adam Reed, you've got to bring back my Milton. You can't let him disappear. And we need to find out about Woodhouse too.
Yeah,
like, we need to, I think, get some resolution with that too in the beginning of the season.
Can we revive the petition that we had last year for the Krieger comic, but now it's Krieger and Milton on a mission to find and save Woodhouse?
Yes.
God, you're absolutely insane. You have lost your mind. I'm going to toss out...
And Krieger lives off the toast from Milton as they're going out.
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yes.
I'm going to throw everything I just said out the window, okay, guys? Because next season, I'm calling it Treasure Hunters. like Indiana Jones, right? But instead of, like, Indiana's like, well, this belongs in a museum. They're the ones that are like, no, we're going to steal as much stuff as possible.
Sell.
Yeah, sell it on the black market. Yeah.
Okay.
That's funny.
I think that's where it's going.
I'd watch that.
I would watch that, but
I don't know what it would be called, but if we can't call it Vice, is it Temple of
Pirate Archer?
Well, Pirate Archer was
Pirate.
already a thing, I suppose.
That's true.
You know, we'll figure it out.
you
guys
got 8
are
months to think about it.
You guys have 8 months to figure out what Archer the Treasure Hunter season could be called.
Right.
Tell us in the comments.
That's
Yeah.
right.
tweet at us. Let us know. Guys, I'm so incredibly sad. This is it. This is the end. My friend, the end.
Just for now.
For now.
Just for now.
Guys, it has been one heck of a ride this entire season on Archer and with all of you. Again, let us know what you thought of us, the season, everything. We want to stay in touch with you guys.
Absolutely.
So you can find me on the Twitters at Greg Goodness. And if you want to see me do comedy live, what? Why? I'll leave that to you. But you can find my sketch troupe, It's the Cops. We perform at iOS, second Sunday of every month. Come check us out. There are drinks there.
In Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
They're funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys, take it away.
You can find me on Twitter at sman80, and definitely want to keep in touch with everybody. It'll be January before we know it in season 7. Crazy.
Yeah. You guys can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatzachWilson, and I have a whole bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Tuesday nights, Grimm on Sundays, and Helix and Better Call Saul are wrapping up shortly.
That's so much. All right,
much
guys.
stuff, so much good stuff.
Let's float and gloat out of here. You take it away, Internet. It's been real. Float and gloat, float and gloat, float and gloat, float and gloat.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners.
If I ever did a singing show,